But anyway, well, Frank.
One thing I wanted to mention before we go on, in speaking of the first shop and the one we have now, is one of the everything got bigger and more complex and stuff. But one of the few things that we did at the first shop that we were never able to get going again here was those bluegrass jam sessions on Thursday night.
Oh yeah, I do remember those.
We never figured it out. We as soon as we moved here, we tried to have them, and there was something about that, the fact that you couldn't fit very many people into that original shop, and it spilled out onto the street in the summertime, and there was something about that crowded atmosphere that made it work. And here we were just rumbling around in this big old barn, It was kind of like being in a really great restaurant in which there were only 2 other people eating, where you just kind of think, I don't know, this isn't the same, And it's a great example of how sometimes in certain locations and atmospheres are conducive to that sort of live music, crossbreeding, and then you get into what should have been a larger, more luxurious location with opportunities for 2 or 3 different groups at one time, but it just never worked.
I don't know. Maybe bluegrass and old-timey music doesn't really work well in large and luxurious locations.
Evidently, it didn't.
You guys have the first I've heard call this place luxurious.
Well, in comparison,
roomy. I'll buy roomy.
Okay. Well, I did say barn-like. Yeah.
Well, a luxurious barn.
Now we're talking.
Yes.
Well, I like I said, I really love coming here, and haven't been up here often enough in the last few years. I'm just.
Life gets complex, man.
It does, anyway, I wanted to ask you guys, now that you've grown, obviously, from 600 square feet to 5,000, how many employees do you have on your staff now?
No, if you count us, it's 17.
17. Wow.
And that many, again, as teachers who rent space here and operate their own little enterprises.
Mm-hmm. Right, they're like independent contractors.
Yeah, so like the man that came to dinner, we have 3 teachers who pretty much started out as we moved into the building, and they're still with us. And that's Carol McComb doing the group lessons.
Right. It's been a while.
Ed Johnson doing guitar, and Jack Tuttle, the bluegrass guy.
Yeah, Jack started a couple of years after he moved here, and he was baby Jack for a long time because he was just out of college.
Well, now he's got the Tuttle family band.
Well, right, yeah.
And I remember the Gryphon Quintet with Rich Bam, and I can't remember who else was in that band. It was the 4 of them,
and Jack
Bob,
and Ed and Carol, that I mentioned.
And Bob Kolb on.
Okay, that's who I couldn't remember.
On bass and
was the bass player and Dover player.
Well, right. Bob was just in on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're all people we keep in contact with. You bet.
Great. Hey, well, Frank, I wanted to ask you about your luthier. You are widely regarded as one of the premier luthiers anywhere, and both weekend players and luminaries alike rely on you. I rely on you to keep their instruments in good health. And I've had my instruments in here and couldn't be more pleased with the work. But I was wondering, in your years of restoring and repairing instruments, are there any particular instruments that stand out as far as being unusual or being kind of have a little bit of history to them?
We see instruments with history, and we see instruments from all kinds of different sources and in the hands of different kinds of players. We're not in an area that has a large traffic and celebrities or recording studios or performance venues, and we're not even that close to an airport. So the fact is that we don't see a lot of celebrity instruments here, and we don't take work in by shipment because we're just too busy. But every so often we get something really cool. Not too long ago, our friend Ozzy Catani brought in a vintage 40s vintage Martin 017, I think it was. And it had originally belonged to Sonny Chillingworth. And he brought it in to see about getting the neck reset. And in looking the thing over, we all agreed at the work it needed. And I said, well, I don't consider any examination complete unless we look inside. And so I put my mirror inside, and all of the top braces were lined with cockroach egg casings. It was quite wonderful. Yeah. And I said, Ozzy, be glad I'll get in there with the scrapers and stuff and clean that all out. And he says, oh, no, you won't. Those are Sonny's cockroaches. They stay.
Wow.
Well, we do. So we do have celebrity cockroaches.